Fastacash's focus really is around person-to-person payments and person-to-merchant payments. Now, if you look at the way the industry is evolving, the days of me walking down to a bank branch and making a person-to-person payment seem to be disappearing rapidly. People are going online and moving money to each other, whether that's domestically or whether that's cross-border. Now, if you look at the person-to-merchant side, you see very similar behavior. So people were, days bygone, walking down to a physical shop and buying goods and services. Now they're transacting online. What the industry is really struggling with is people are actually moving onto social networks on mobile. And social networks being defined as, Facebook or a messaging channel like a WhatsApp or a Hike or a Zalo in Vietnam, for example. So people are living and breathing on these social networks and messaging channels. But what you're not seeing yet is a seamless transaction experience that resides very tightly knit with the communication experience. And that's really what I believe fastacash is trying to solve when it comes to industry pain points. What we really want to do is, if you look at where the payment industry is right now, it hasn't quite caught up with end user behavior, which is driven by social networks and messaging channels. So half the world's population, 3.5 billion people, are now on social networks and messaging channels. How can we really solve that for the industry? And that's really what the technology platform's architected and designed to do, is really provide that end user experience that's a very seamless transaction experience. So when you look at fastacash and our model, so our model is very much B2B to C. And of course, inherent in that model is, if you're going to focus on the C, you need to understand the C. So whilst the end users are not our end users, they're our partners' end users, it's important for us to understand consumer behavior. Now, clearly with technology moving as quickly as it is and evolving as fast as it is, the focus for us is, how can you give end users, when it comes to moving money on a person-to-person basis, whether it's domestic or cross-border, how can you give end users the ability to sit on their couch at home whilst watching TV to be able to move money anywhere else in the world? And by the way, that's a digital experience on the send side. But of course, when you look at emerging markets, what's very important is for someone to be able to pick up their cash in a physical environment. So whether that's walking down to a physical shop and picking up their cash, or in some emerging markets, one of our partners, Express Money, is able to deliver cash to the end user's doorstep. So that combination between an established money mover and a company like fastacash, which is highly innovative on the technology side, is a unique partnership that really addresses person-to-person payments between the digital and the physical world. When it comes to the person-to-merchant payment side, you see the same thing again. So end users want to be able to walk down to a physical store if they need to, and then they want to come back home and transact on their smartphones. But of course, they're all living and breathing on social. So fastacash, again, is very focused around leveraging social behavior and the way people communicate over social networks to drive transaction capability. So again, it's about understanding how people communicate to drive transaction capability. That's really what we're focused on. The most important thing really for us is to understand our partners' users and what do they really want to share. Because what we're really enabling is, we hear a lot about the sharing economy, and really to us, people share entertainment. They don't really share economics. So our view is, how do we give them a platform over which they can share any form of value? Now, of course, when you talk about our partners' users are moving value. So it can be money, it can be airtime, it can be merchant QR codes, tokens, coupons, any form of value really. So having that network of partners is really important to us. And what that brings us, of course, is our partners have enormous cash in and cash out networks that we then share across our partner base. So it's really about sharing value across that partner network. So the most important thing for entrepreneurs really is about solving problems. That's the biggest thing. So what's the pain point? What are they trying to solve for the end users, for consumers? number one. Number two, clearly, is stay focused, have clear objectives, don't get distracted. Um, and really, in the end, it's about having the right people around you. So it's about having the right mentors, it's about having access to the right investors, and really, what do investors really want? Execution, execution, execution. So that would be my advice, really. Look, when it comes to fastacash and where we started the journey, it really was about solving a very simple solution. If I can send a photo or a video over a messaging channel, why can't I send value? So why can't I transact on a person-to-person basis to my daughter, for example, who needs some pocket money? If she's sending me a message, why can't I send her money at the same time? In the same way as on the person-to-merchant side, if my son wants me to buy him a pair of new football boots, why can't I do that for him over the same communication channel that he's asking me to buy those boots on? So really, it's about bringing transaction experiences very, very tightly knit towards a communication experience. That's really where we started the journey. And then, of course, for any successful business, having the right people around to make them successful is very important. That can be a combination of having a great team of employees who are focused, who want to come into work every day and make a difference. It's about having a management team that is very, very passionate about what we're trying to solve, about a board who actually share the same vision as the management team around one thing and one thing only, and that's execution. Execution is very important to investors. So gaining investor credibility at every step of the journey is critically important. And those things can only come through focus and execution. And that's focus and execution all the way from the board to the management team and then the employees.